Welcome to the Retro Blood.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood. As we continue talking some fire, some deep, dark lair, some mountains, some lost souls in this universe, because we're talking Hell Month here on the Retro Blood, continuing our talks of 1980s horror movies that have the title Hell in them. Up next, if y'all like rich people country clubs, if you like this girl with frizzy hair that was, I guess, supposedly supposed to be the devil, that wanted people to join her country club, if y'all like AI space technology in 1984, and if y'all like Negative Land of the Upside Down, this is the review for you, brother, because the Retro Blood is talking all about the TV horror movie Invitation to Hell. J. Alison, James Kline, what's happened, Alison? How was your stay at the, what was it, Sally Country Club? Do you feel richer? Did you get a promotion?
I definitely don't feel richer. Through most of this, I kind of hated you for making me watch this movie.
This is a great movie. What are you talking about?
I was super disappointed in this thing, but I don't know. It was, I don't know. Well, maybe you can change my mind, but this was like the most ridiculous thing. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
I don't know why I said Sally. I don't know where I got the Sally part from. It's the Steaming Springs Country Club, brother. Okay.
Steaming Springs. Yeah.
Where you get
there was lots of fog in this.
Where you get a lot of pleasure and you get to go to Negative Land. I mean, come on, man. What more do you want out of a country club?
Yeah, this was
all right. You got the gym in there. You get a promotion at your job. You know what I mean? You're feeling good. You got a new car. You got a new suit.
Yeah.
All right. The wife listens to you. Come on now.
This was Wes Craven saying, "I need a paycheck."
Boy, okay. First of all, we'll get to it because there's not a whole lot to talk about. Excuse me. There's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to like the who booked this shit, you know, because
nobody knows why this was made.
Yeah, because so this was the year, all right, that Wes Craven, you know, is releasing Nightmare on Elm Street, all right, which is the first episode ever of the Retro Blood. Check it all the way out in the deep archives. And he did the Hills of Eyes too, if I believe so. And then
in 84?
Yeah, in 84, right?
Maybe. I thought it was 85, but I just off the top of my head.
We can look it up. Okay, so you're saying the Hills of Eyes 2 was raised in 1985? Okay, I thought it was around this 1984.
Yeah, I mean it was August of 85.
Okay.
It's Hills of Eyes 2.
But anyway, you know, it's very interesting. We'll talk about a little bit about the Wes Craven and I was trying to look up why he made this movie. Okay, and I only found
why he made this movie.
Well, why?
He needed the money.
Okay.
And I guarantee, I mean, I just know. I mean, that's how these people are. I mean, he made Swamp Thing in 82.
Yes.
And then he didn't make another movie until he made this movie and Nightmare on Elm Street in the same year. And I guarantee you, he just needed a fucking paycheck.
You know, I could see that. And apparently he's done a TV movie before this one. That's right. That's what I read too. So, but we'll get into it. But actually, you know, I kind of like this movie. Like at first I was like, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know how like some of the movies we watch now, like if you watch them on like, you know, streaming services or whatever, we'll get like the Blu-ray copy or like the high definition copy. You know what I mean? Like they'll upscale the shit to make it look a little better for the new age. Nope, not this one, brother. We got the VHS tape.
Right. Oh yeah, we got the VHS. Did you watch it on the cock or how did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it on the cock, brother. Like I was like, damn. First of all, there's two things was going through my head when I turned it on. Number one, I was like, wow, like they didn't even try to upscale this at all. And number two was like, why is this on Peacock? Like,
Because
It's why.
I think most of these things, this happens to Amazon, I think a lot. Like they just buy a package of movies, or they want a movie. Like a lot of film companies will be like, okay, if we'll sell you the rights to this movie so you can stream it or put it on your TV channel, but you have to buy all these other movies too.
Yeah.
And then they just try to monetize those movies the best they can. So this probably came in some package with something they actually wanted to have on Peacock. And then, because it's weird because Peacock is NBC, but this was an ABC movie. This came out on ABC originally. So ABC lost the rights to it, and then whoever ended up owning the rights sold it to NBC most likely. It's also on Amazon.
Yeah.
But I watched the Peacock version.
Yeah, same here. Just very interesting to see, like, because, with these streaming channels, like you're saying, they have a bunch of, like, random movies on them. It's just interesting to think that somebody would just, like, scrolling through your horror section. You're like, okay, this one looks fun. Invitation to Hell. Then you're watching it, and you're like, what kind of 1980s back alley movie this one came from? But I kind of liked it, though. I liked it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just,
okay.
I can't really say why I liked it. I can't figure it out, but I liked it. I thought it was a pretty fun, movie. It wasn't like, like 80s party fun or nothing like that, or 80s creepy or very creative. It was just like, okay, I get what's going on here. We're talking about corporate greed. You know what I mean? We're talking about this guy trying to help out his family, and we're talking about some sort of hot, devilish woman creature who is trying to seduce our main character to joining her fancy white person country club. I can dig it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. It's interesting that you would, because I don't know if you remember, but last week when we talked about doing this, I said I'd seen this movie before, but I hadn't.
Oh, okay.
I had never seen this movie. I would have remembered this.
Yeah.
But I have seen, and then you brought up that he'd done a TV movie before. So what I was thinking of was Stranger in Our House, which is the other TV movie that he made that had Linda Blair in it. Because if you remember, I said that Linda Blair was in this movie, but what I was thinking of was Stranger in Our House, which came out in like 1978. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about this week. We're talking about the award-winning Invitation to Hell.
Can you believe this? So it was nominated. Did it actually win?
I don't know. I made that up. I don't think it was actually nominated.
No, bro. It was nominated for a primetime Emmy.
For something.
Yes, it was nominated. You were just trying to be funny.
Yeah, I was.
Come on now. It was nominated for a primetime Emmy for art direction in 1984, brother. They must have been pushing the barrel for art in 1984. This is maybe it was the upside down negative universe that the art people loved.
Maybe. And it's really weird because this movie has so many famous people in it. I mean, it's got Robert Urich.
Yeah.
It's got Joanna Cassidy. It's got Kevin McCarthy. All those people were, known actors. And Susan Lucci, who played the Devil Lady, was like, she was really famous during this time. She was most famous for being on one of the soap operas. I'll think of it when we get to Who Booked This Shit. But she was pretty famous at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is really bizarre. But anyway. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it, though. We'll break down the we did most of it, but we'll break down the behind the scenes stuff of this movie. It's just very, very fascinating picture here. But let's get to the history segment. You know what I mean? Because me and Alison, the Retro Blood is kind of like this country club in a way. You know what I mean? Like, not only do we give you the main course, which is turning your brains into mindless zombies to do what we say, but we also give you some exercise equipment, and we also give you a pool with girls in bikinis. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, really, if you think about it. So, but our version is talking about pro wrestling and metal to enlighten you guys on two of our favorite subjects besides horror movies. So this movie was released on May 24th, 1984. All right. Mm-hmm. So, how about we? Well, why don't we do your wrestling right now? What do you got for us on the wrestling?
All right. So the closest thing I could think of around that time was I watched an episode of Mid-South Wrestling that aired on May the 26th. So we could watch on the 24th. So this would have been probably Memorial Day weekend, maybe of 1984, maybe. So we could have watched Invitation to Hell on the 24th, and then 2 days later we could sit down and watch our episode of Mid-South. So this episode starts just like all other episodes of Mid-South starts with Boyd Pierce and Bill Watts. And Bill Watts was the owner of Mid-South, right?
Yes.
Am I correct about that? Yeah.
Yes.
And Grizzly Smith was the booker, I believe, at the time.
Yes.
But yeah, so Bill Watts is also doubling as commentator, and Bill Watts is sitting there, and he's holding up a check, supposedly a piece of paper he has in his hand that he says is a $50,000 check from Jim Cornette, because they have a bet going that on this episode, the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express are going to battle it out for the Mid-South Tag Team Championship. If the Express wins, then obviously they're the champions. If the Rock and Roll Express wins, they get a $50,000 check from Jim Cornette. And so basically he just announces that, and then we switch to the news that Magnum TA just won the North American title from Mr. Wrestling.
Oh.
Now we don't see that. It happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma like a week ago. But we do see the end of the match. And one thing I thought was interesting about this, like I think I mentioned before, I haven't watched a lot of Mid-South, but I really want to start watching it because it's really it's like prototype Crockett. Yeah, is what I would call it. Because all these guys went to Crockett a year or two later. Probably, well, this is 84. They probably went in 85. So a year or two later, all these guys would be in Crockett doing the same thing again. But this is like seeing the Crockett stuff before it was Crockett, which is kind of cool for me. But yeah, Magnum TA is considered a hot rookie, and they call him Terry Allen most of the time still, but he must have just become Magnum TA. But yeah, he wins the North American title, which could have been his first title there from Mr. Wrestling. And then next week they're going to have a rematch, which they implied was going to be on television for Mr. Wrestling and Magnum TA again for this North American title. I thought that was interesting that they have a North American title because now companies have brought the North American title back.
Yeah, like NXT,
which is kind of cool. Like NXT has one, yeah. Which is kind of cool. I mean, it's not as cool as like a statewide heavyweight championship like the Louisiana heavyweight championship or the West Texas heavyweight championship. That's kind of cool.
Or my favorite, the Orient tag team titles.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably not. I don't know how many people are competing for that, but the tag team champions of the Orient. So this episode was actually pretty light on action. Well, not really. I mean, the match was kind of long, but there just wasn't a ton of different stuff in it. Then the next thing we have this ongoing saga of Junkyard Dog, who is feuding with Buddy Landell and Butch Reed. And this was really weird. So they bring out Sonny King, who's from Louisiana. They bring out Sonny King to talk about what had happened the week before. And I guess they were interviewing Junkyard Dog. So one thing people have to keep in mind is Junkyard Dog is probably the most popular wrestler in Mid-South during this time. Like, he's just super over with everybody. He's like the Dusty Rhodes of Mid-South. So he's doing an interview, and then Buddy Landell comes out and Butch Reed comes out to confront him, and then they beat him up, and then they tar and feather him. So they open up a pillow and they pour tar on him and cover him in feathers. And then Sonny King comes out because he's upset because of the racist implications of it. Because I guess that was like what they used to do like during like Jim Crow or pre-Jim Crow, I guess, to like freed slaves and people like that. So it was like this like racist thing toward Junkyard Dog, and he doesn't understand why Butch Reed would do it. And then basically that's it. Like, he just tells him that he's unhappy with that and that they're going to sort it out. So it was a little bit, the whole episode I feel like was a little bit like they kind of had to book on the fly. There wasn't a lot going on in this. Yeah. But the whole show was based around this Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express match, which was kind of cool. It was typical Peacock presentation. So they changed the entrance music. So you don't get the actual entrance music. Yeah. But whatever. What are you going to do? Right. So the Express comes out first, and then the Rock and Roll comes to the to the ring, and they walk down the aisle, and then they have on their ring gear, and then you know how they wore those jackets that had the sleeves cut out like the vests, kind of.
Yeah.
So they come down to the ring and they take those off, and there's supposedly fans, quote unquote. I mean, maybe they were fans. I don't know. That have two boxes that have other ring gear in it. So they open up the boxes and they take out those new ring jackets and they put those on. Now they're standing right at the ring, so they put the ring jackets on, and then they get into the ring and they take the ring jackets right back off again. But I don't know. I guess it was. Well, it was a thing.
They got their the ring jackets got their 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. They got over for that immediately. This match was great. So this was so fast. Like, you know how last week you talked about how wrestling was just really slow, like in the 70s and the early 80s.
Yeah.
Like this must have looked like light speed to the people watching this match during this time. I'm wondering if was Rock and Roll and Midnight, do you think they were the first like fast tag teams where they're just like doing fast tags and like just, you know, doing, you know, off the top rope moves? And because I know Bobby Eaton was considered a high flyer in his day. Yeah. You know, compared to how everybody else was. But I mean, what do you think? Do you think they were like the first, or one of the first fast tag teams?
So in American wrestling, like on a big scale, I would say they're probably one of the innovators of that. But I do remember like I think it was like there's a women's group in Japan. Then they're called like the Jumping Bomb Angels or something like that. And they were supposed to be like super quick, like in all their wrestling matches. But I think a lot of like the, you know, early, you know, Japan wrestling, a lot of their stuff was a little quicker. But when it comes
Mexican
to
wrestling, probably.
Definitely Mexican lucha libre wrestling was definitely like that. But you know, for like a normal watching American fan like us, you know, they're probably during that time, unless they brought somebody in from Japan or or Mexico, I'd probably say like this would be like very, you know, fast paced and new for everybody that I could think of. Sure. You know, unless there's somebody in the 70s we're just not thinking of. But yeah, I mean, they would probably be, especially Rock and Roll and, you know, that faster paced style wrestling was definitely kind of a new, you know, as we've seen. Because, you know,
and it's really, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the only person I can think off the top of my head that might be fast that's before their time is Jimmy Snuka. You know what I mean? Because he was a little faster style of a wrestler with jumping off the cages and stuff like that, but he still wasn't as fast as these guys.
Right. So. I think it's really weird. While I was watching this, the only thing I could think of is Jim Cornette complaining about the Young Bucks. Yeah. And the flippy floppy wrestling that he sees now in AEW. But I mean, this was like the 1984 version of flippy floppy. Yeah. For sure. I mean, this was the same thing, but in 1984. And now, granted, it's more realistic. You know, they don't take like moves that would kill them and then kick out of it and then lose on a schoolboy or something like the Bucks do a lot. But yeah, I mean, like it's really weird and ironic that he would complain about that. Yet this is what he loved. This is what he was really invested in. Yeah. So anyways, this is going on. They go back and forth for a while. Bobby Eaton's jumping off the top rope. Robert Gibson does his devastating new move that nobody's ever seen before, called the Enziguri. Oh. Was an amazing move at the time. Yeah, brand new move. So they go back and forth. Rock and Roll is obviously on top. But then we have the dastardly. Oh, also I forgot to mention it's a no DQ match for some reason. They don't mention that, but there's no DQ, which is kind of weird because it has the commentaries are kind of weird at the end of this. But there's no DQ, so there's no rope breaks or anything. So Cornette, after the referee gets knocked down, Cornette pulls out a spray can and a towel and jumps into the ring. Puts the towel over Robert Gibson's face, which they start to suspect. The commentators start to suspect is ether. And Robert Gibson passes out. And then Bobby Eaton climbs over top of him, pins him, and they win the tag titles.
Did they do the oh, what's that smell? Like the commentaries? Yeah. I could smell it from all the way here.
Bill Watts goes down to the crowd to investigate what this stuff could have been on the towel. And he says he talked to a guy in the audience who says that it's ether because he works with ether every day.
Oh, okay.
And therefore he knows what it smells like. So coincidentally, in the audience of 500 people or whatever, we have someone who works with ether and knows what it smells like. So so we find
what
out
job
that
would that be?
We determine. I have no idea. Maybe he's a dentist. I don't know. Dentists used to ether back then, I think. But I think it's weird, though, that they talk about how, Cornette was able to do this because the referee was distracted. However, it's a no DQ. So what difference would it make? If he ethered Robert Gibson or not. But I don't know. I've never used ether, but it went really quickly. And Robert Gibson, a professional wrestler, could not fight off Jim Cornette to not lose these titles. But yeah, so anyway, so they don't win the $50,000. The Express get the titles. Then we go to an interview with Robert Gibson, with Jim Ross with the Midnight Express. Jim Ross basically just says, "You were obviously cheating." And then Cornette says, "I tried to get this note correct." Cornette says it's obviously not obvious because the Express are obviously the tag team title champions. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
But yeah. So I mean, Mid-South was really good. I've never seen it before. I mean, I've as much as I've been into old wrestling, like I've never watched Mid-South. But I think I'm going to start. I think I'm going to go through the episodes and watch all the ones that I can.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fun show. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any experience with Mid-South or anything?
Yeah, I mean,
we
talked about some of it on the show before.
Sure. Yeah.
And they did the WWF did release a documentary on Mid-South, which is actually really good. I recommend you checking it out.
Yeah,
I believe sure. I don't know if you can actually find it on Peacock, but if you can, I actually have the physical copy of it, so I can let you loan it. But it's actually really good.
Oh. I'll loan it from the library of James Kline.
Yes, I actually still have a bunch of old wrestling DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff.
Oh, me too.
From my
most of those are out of print now.
Yeah,
a lot of them are out of print, and you can't see that stuff anymore. Like I have the Benoit DVD, and we'll never see that shit again.
Yep, I got that one. Yep.
Yeah.
I got a couple. I got to go through the collection, but there is a couple documentaries and stuff that they're not even on Peacock or any of the streaming services at all. I think the ones like you said, the Benoit one, and I got the Mid-South one. So, but yeah, very fascinating stuff. We'll talk more about the Mid-South on this show because it is a really fun territory. They have a really cool opening song to their show too, and like you were saying, it is very early Crockett style wrestling. But the cool thing about Mid-South is they actually had it's a lot of like building blocks for like a lot of like well thought out angles. That's what Bill Watts was kind of known for, was his like angles that would build out like that. So, but
and it kind of shows you. I was gonna say it kind of shows you how territories worked because, and it's I know that we talk about this a lot, but it's hard. It's really hard to impress on people what territory wrestling was like because you couldn't. It's not like everybody in the world now and everybody in the country before would watch like Monday Night Raw. Like with Monday Night Raw airs, if you have friends anywhere in the United States or whatever, you can talk to them about Raw because they just watch the same show. Yeah. But like with me, a year later, I was watching all these things again through Jim Crockett, but I'd never seen it before. It was new to me because I couldn't watch Mid-South because it was regional. So that's kind of how territory stuff worked. Whereas like they would go to a territory, do all their stuff, and then sometimes they would go to another territory together and do the same stuff again. But it worked because nobody ever seen it before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they would also do a lot too. What they would, if a wrestler's getting stale or something around the territory, or if a certain act was getting over, or like even a certain grudge feud was getting over, they would bring it to a territory. Like you were saying, they would just redo the whole angle again for a new fresh audience. Because like you're saying, there's nothing on TV you could all watch together, and it's not like they had 1984 Twitter back in the day.
exactly.
Even though they had, apparently in this movie, they have AI space helmets, so that kind of helps. So
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. We'll try to explain that later.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the metal, brother, that we're going to be listening to on our way to our television screens watching these two fantastic movies. Okay. Well, you know, maybe going to the record store and buying the vinyl and bringing it back home or something. We can play it, or maybe the tape. Maybe the tape deck.
Yes.
So
the tape deck,
so this band they're pretty neat. So this band called Battleaxe, okay?
Yes.
And they released their album Power from the Universe. All right, so we know where this is going. And I'm kind of surprised you didn't really know too much about this band, Alison.
I never heard of this band
because
before.
Apparently they're one of the notable bands from the new wave of British heavy metal. All right.
Yeah, apparently so.
But you know,
I had never heard of this band at all.
But in your defense, they only did release 2 albums in the 80s. This is one of them. Okay, so it's not like they were like pumping out fucking record after record. So they were. This is their second one from the 80s. The Power from the Universe. The first one was called Bury This Town in 1983. So, and then I guess they just fell on hard times afterwards, and then they wouldn't release a record until like the 90s and stuff. But like I said, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I have 2005, but
Oh, okay. Let me see. I thought it was actually, hold on, shit. On my Apple list, I only got 2014. Shit. But yeah, you said they got another album in 2005.
Yeah, according to their discography, they released "Burn This Town" in 1983.
Okay.
And then that was re-released in 1984, and then they released "Power from the Universe," is what we're talking about today, in 1984. Oh, those are reissues.
Interesting.
Hold on. They released "Heavy Metal Sanctuary" in 2014. So yeah, so they re-released "Burn This Town" and "Power of the Universe" in 2005. And then they released a new album in 2014. So they basically did nothing for 30 years.
Wow.
40 years.
Well, they were doing some other bands or something.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Some side old projects.
Yeah, it just seems like one of those weird things where they were just like, it just didn't work. Or maybe they were just playing shows. Like a lot of bands were just playing shows all this time. Like that band, Cirith Ungol. They're touring now, like in their 60s probably, but they were like kind of popular in the 70s and the early 80s, and they just didn't get huge. They were decent, but they continued touring and playing shows and probably working day jobs, kind of like Anvil, all this time. And then I saw them, they were going to be playing at that heavy metal festival I went to in 2022, and I'm like, oh, I got to see Cirith Ungol. This might be my only chance, because I'd never heard of them playing anywhere close to me. And when I went to that show, I was like, surely I'm going to be the only person here, right? Because I've never met another person that ever listened to this band. And then the line's out the fucking door of all these people, all these Cirith Ungol fans, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like, so I'm talking to people in the crowd, and I'm like, I've never met another person that listened to this band except for me. But yeah, so they're probably a band like that where they're like, they have this following, they had this following at the time, and they were able to probably continue to play shows, probably didn't make enough money to make a living, but they were still probably able to make music, and play shows all that time.
They probably came back.
But they're still together now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. They probably came back for kind of like the nostalgia act a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So apparently they formed in 1983. And the lineup is David King, is the vocalist, Steve Hardy, no relation to Jeff and Matt Hardy, guitarist,
No.
Brian Smith, bass, and Ivan McCormick, the drums.
Yeah.
So, and, the new wave of the British heavy metal was basically like, kind of like, what would you say, like a lot of like more power vocals, at this time? Very DC style.
Well, kind of. Yeah, kind of, yeah. So new wave of British heavy metal is like pre-power metal. So I would say that power metal came out of a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal bands. But if they formed in '83, they were a very late addition to the new wave of British heavy metal, which is probably why they didn't make it the way they maybe should have, because they were a little bit behind their times. Because you got to consider by 1984, so the new wave of British heavy metal bands became the thrash bands, right? Mm-hmm. So Metallica was like, if it wasn't for new wave of British heavy metal bands, Metallica wouldn't exist. So they basically, that was their biggest influence. But by 1984, Ride the Lightning was already out. So I'm guessing that they were kind of behind the times a little bit. And if they formed in '83, and then, they were just swept up in thrash. Thrash just kind of took over the kind of sound that they had. Because all those bands, none of those bands really survived. Like, Diamond Head really didn't make it much longer. The only ones that did, like Iron Maiden, made it, but they had to evolve into something else. So Iron Maiden, evolved from the new wave of British heavy metal sound to a more power metal, traditional heavy metal sound that they would get when Bruce Dickinson joined in '82, I guess. But yeah, so that's what I'm guessing is like these guys were just a little bit behind the times of where they should have been, and that's just why it just didn't take off like it should have.
Yeah, but they actually sounded pretty good. Like we listened to a couple tracks.
No, they're great. Yeah,
like I really like that. I guess it's one of their title tracks, Metal Rock. That shit was pretty jamming.
Yeah, I don't know if it's metal or it's rock. It's both. It's metal rock.
It's a metal and a rock, brother. You know
it's
what I mean?
A metal and a rock. Yes.
Like it's like this. Like maybe it's something that they found in the upside down country club layer.
Maybe, yeah. You know that's what they listen to down there is metal rock.
Do they have License to Rock? I like the Power from the Universe. That's like a He-Man song. And then
that's a good song.
Make It in America, brother.
Make It in America, which they didn't do, but yeah.
And apparently on this, if you listen to Apple Music, I'm pretty sure you can find it everywhere else too. They have a couple bonus tracks too, which is pretty cool. But I didn't get to listen to the full thing, but I was actually kind of enjoying it. Driving in the New Age Trans Am, which is my Mustang. I was driving it around the town and stuff, listening to this for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I could dig it. You know what I mean? Like I go to their concert.
Chopper Attack was a good song.
Yeah, Chopper Attack. That's actually their main song, the one that people remember off the album. It was good. I like the metal rock a little better though, but it was good stuff though. But we'll play some on the. Well, we gotta do it new style. Like I can't play their music on here because they'll copyright me and shit. But
get sued and shit.
But the thing is, if you go to the Retro Blood Facebook page, I'll be if I could find a video or a live performance from this band, I will post it on there for y'all to enjoy. But they're pretty fun.
Absolutely.
I like them. You know what I mean? If we're back in the day, you know what I mean? I got my long hair, I got my thrash shirt on and stuff. I go see these guys. I think it'd be pretty fun. So,
yeah.
Speaking of pretty fun, everybody, let's talk a little bit about who booked this shit. We won't go too long because we mainly did most of it during the intro. But the fun part about this movie has to be the director, Wes Craven. I mean, it's just very interesting for him at this particular time because he's about to blow up, basically. I mean,
yeah, he's definitely not famous yet.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, I guess he's a little famous for doing Hills of Ice. That was a pretty big movie in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, obviously his biggest commercial success is about to come pretty soon with, Nightmare on Elm Street. You know what I mean? Especially like when we start getting into some of the later ones. But yeah, it's really interesting. And like he would take on this project and kind of like what you're saying. I mean, that's pretty much like the, he's basically just doing this for like the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cause in '82, so basically at this time, you got to consider that he made Last House on the Left, which was considered at the time, a really shocking film. And I mean, it's shocking now when you watch it.
Yeah.
Like even the remake of that could not even come close to how shocking the original was. And then he made Hills Have Eyes, which is shocking in its own way. So he was kind of considered like this sort of underground, like almost like degenerate filmmaker, probably. Like he's making all this like horrible stuff that, normal people don't want to see. And then he made Deadly Blessing, which we've done on the show, which is in the archives. And then he got his big break when when he directed Swamp Thing, but Swamp Thing was like a failure, so he probably had to do something, to make ends meet while he was writing and filming Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, at the end of this year, he was going to explode, and then he would be super famous after that. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
Yeah, just very interesting. Like, where this goes in his collection, because this is also one of the movies that he didn't necessarily write, because most of his movies that he would direct and write. This one was written by a guy named Richard Rothstein, all right, who is known for doing the screenplay for Universal Soldier. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's
and it's 5 sequels.
Yes, and it's 5. Yes. He was also the creator of the HBO TV series The Hitchhiker. All right. He also directed a lot of it. So, what I'm seeing is, from this particular movie, this Invitation to Hell, it seems like we were getting a lot of the TV actors around this time to participate in this film, because a lot of people from they're acting on this film were a lot of TV stars. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily movie stars; they're more like TV stars. That we're seeing. Especially the girl who played Jessica Jones, and no, it's not the Marvel character. Jessica Jones,
somebody different.
Little different. Susan Lucci. Yeah, and she was, I guess,
Susan Lucci.
She was biggest, pretty much the daytime drama queen girl for All My Children, because she was pretty much on the show for its entire run.
Yeah, she's most famous for being on All My Children for, 40 years or whatever.
Yeah, it was 1970 to 2011. So she was even doing All My Children before she even made this movie.
Oh yeah, a long time.
So she won a bunch of awards for that. Maybe that's why this movie was looked in to be in the award, because she was so popular. Very, very interesting. Also a bunch of other people from movies and stuff too. The girl who played Patricia Pat, Joanna, she was in some movies as well too. Let's see.
Kevin. Kevin McCarthy was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
Michael Berryman is in this, he played. He's the guy that played. He always plays the weird looking guy. He was in Hills Have Eyes.
Yes.
But he played a valet in this movie.
Yeah, the valet guy. Yes.
So it's kind of cool. Yeah. And who did I not mention? Oh, Soleil Moon Frye was in it as his daughter. She would go on to be in Punky Brewster.
Yes, Punky Brewster. Yes,
as a kid. Yeah, and she's most famous. Yes, she's most famous now probably for having really big boobs. But she was Punky Brewster. So it had. It's not like it was like a nothing cast. It had a great cast. Had a good director. It had a good writer, I guess. If you like those Universal Soldier movies. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. Obviously you like this better than I did, but we'll get into it in a second. We'll get into it. Yeah.
What? See what's going on here right now, Alison, is I am like the character Jessica Jones, and you are the Matt character, and I'm trying to lure you into my lair to make you like this movie.
Okay, maybe you will. Maybe you will. I'll explain when we go through the plot. I'll explain when it turned for me.
Okay. So the filming also took place in Southern California. So that's another couple things about it. Obviously, this whole movie. This whole movie is pretty. It's not like they're said in this movie, oh yeah, we're in Miami or something. No, they said throughout the whole movie where they were kind of located around California. So, and it was production company was Moonlight Productions on here. We have a cinematographer, Dan. Was it Dan Kunde? And he's actually known for doing a lot of great cinematographer movies like Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Back to the Future. So he did okay in this movie. I thought the look of the film was fine. You know what I mean, for its time. So
yeah, for sure.
Not his most praised work, but I thought it was fine. All right. So But yeah, very interesting stuff. Okay. But yeah, let's get into it though. Let's get into this ABC made-for-television movie, Invitation to Hell, brother. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
They were the perfect family, finding a new life and a new home. But an invitation to the hottest spot in town became an invitation to hell. 1 week from tonight at 8/7 Central and Mountain.
Okay, so we start off the movie. All right. And we see a sign for the country club that we'll be visiting here in the movie, Steaming Springs Country Club. All
yeah.
Right? And we have like this old dude driving, right? And then we see like this big-haired girl, which we're going to find out her name's going to be Jessica Jones, not the Marvel character. She's in a red dress, walking around. This guy's, I guess, driving around the country club, and he looks at these two hot blondes walking around in bikinis, and he just runs the lady over in a red dress. And then she gets up like the Undertaker. All right?
Yeah.
And then blows his window out with her devil magic.
Yes.
And then she laughs, and then that's it. So is that when the movie turned the shark for you?
No, it's still good at this point.
Okay. So now we have that was kind of a random, because we don't really like see her do her witch non-human magic, like pretty much not really until the end of the film, really. So very interesting.
Right. Well, yeah, because they want to keep it a mystery, even though we just saw her use her devil powers.
Yes. So we have this family driving into the city, okay, and we're going to be meeting the Winslow family. All right, and their deal is basically the dad got offered a high-paying tech job from his friend Tom Peterson. Okay, so I guess he was for 10 years or whatever was working at this other job, barely making it. But now he's like, he's moving up in the world. You know what I mean? He got his brand new tech job, and he got his brand new house. And I'm like, it's very interesting, how that. I guess the big paying tech job in 1984 was this brand new tech job, which is not too different from today. Nowadays, people getting some of those high end tech jobs. Of course, it's a little different now in certain aspects.
Well, he's working on like a spacesuit, but
yes.
But yeah, he. So I guess they moved from the Midwest to Southern California, but the wife says it's even better than I remember it when they see the house, which I think is weird because that made me think that they lived there before, but I guess they haven't. Maybe she's talking about like seeing it in a picture or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe when they, before you move, sometimes you like visit the house before you move all your stuff in.
Yeah, maybe.
And then we also meet the kids. Chrissy and Robert, they're talking about like computers. So our boy Robert, he's a big gamer. 1984 gamer, brother, at the time.
I was about to say 1984 computer gamer, yeah.
And then no shit, I think they were talking about if computers can feel. And I was like, oh boy. Wait. 40 years.
Just wait.
So the dad's so now they also take a look at his job. It's like it's like a huge building with mirrors on it and stuff. And they're moving into the house and everything. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie because I thought it was like so funny to like watch something like this nowadays. So the wife name is Patricia, but she goes by Pat, and she tells Matt, "Hey, because I guess Matt is like a tech guy, and I think he basically what he made is a device. Like I couldn't believe this. Okay, so." This is kind of moving ahead, but kind of not in the story. But basically, Matt has developed this device that you can teach it things, and it can tell if it's a human or a non-human. And that's what he's going to use that patent device that I guess he made inside the this new spacesuit they're developing. So when they go to Venus or something, they can, see what's they can tell what's life forms and what's not life forms. Which is basically a very basic form of AI, basically, because you're teaching a machine what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it's sort of ahead of its time. Like it's kind of like like talking about what AI would become. This is not the point where it turned for me, but this is ridiculous. This whole device, the only thing that it does is decide if something is human or not.
Well, yeah, brother, you need to know that.
That's it.
All right. Allison, if you're going to go up to Venus, which I believe they said it was Venus, right? Or is it Mars? I can't tell.
I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah, Venus or Mars. Yeah.
So if you go up there and you have a special AI space helmet, wouldn't you want to know if something's human or not? I mean, come on now.
Why would there be humans?
Why not? We don't know that.
Because
all right.
I'm pretty sure in 1984 we knew that, but okay.
Venus is not only for fly traps, brother. Okay. Maybe some humans on there. All right, so one of my favorite parts is she's also like, "Hey, can you get that AI stuff out of my house? I want this house to be like a home, not all this Wi-Fi technology that you got going on over here." And I'm like, just you wait 40 years. You're going to have a fucking door that talks to you, a refrigerator that talks to you, your TV can talk to you. Just you wait. Make it feel like a home in there. So another thing is the kid, Robert, he tricks one of the guys and getting one of the mover guys to give him a candy bar. Okay. So, they're talking about how they kind of want to update some of the furniture and stuff. And then they're sitting by the fire and they hear like these noises. And this is when we meet the Peterson family. They try to scare them or something with mask or something. So they're all talking and everything. And I guess Patricia's a big piano player. So she's playing some of the piano. And I guess it's out of tune. And then, of course, Peterson was all like, now that you got this new tech job, brother, you don't need to worry about all this old furniture and all that nasty piano stuff. You can upgrade everything. All right. So what we're seeing in this story, half the story is about a middle-class family going into a, higher class neighborhood and family and being pressured to update their stuff and conform to the higher class, formality. So,
right.
That could be another reason maybe why Wes Craven joined the project, maybe because of the actual theme of the whole movie. So could be a possibility.
I'm sure that is a theme that he liked.
Yes.
And also the idea of he also liked the idea that things that seem really normal on the surface are really, really dark underneath. And I could see how he would be attracted to this for that reason.
Yes. So the wife is not too fond of the Peterson line about the old furniture and piano. The dad Matt gets all the kids to go to sleep, and then Matt walks into the room very kind of confused, while Patty lights a candle, and she's like, "Hey, sailor, are the kids asleep?" Oh, you got my attention. So they start kissing. All right. And then now it's the next morning and Matt goes to his first day at the job. And this is when Thomas Peter picks him up. All right. And they're carpooling to the job together. And this is when they meet, they meet the sponsor. I guess it was Thomas's sponsor for the Sally Springs Club. Okay. But but he also works too at the Micro Digitech Center. That's what the job is, Micro Digitech Center. So Peter's introducing, Matt to all the people in the office. He gets to see his office space and everything, and he also gets introduced to the secretary lady as well too. Grace is her name. And then this is when we find to see the spacesuit. So like we said earlier, they're developing like this spacesuit, all right, to go on the Venus to see if there's life forms or not. And not only does Alison and everybody, not only does this spacesuit have an AI generated helmet that Matt is producing, but it also has flammable like it's flammable. You can't light it on fire. It has a laser beam, 1984 laser beam,
does.
and it has a flamethrower, just in case you encounter these Doom-like monsters on Venus.
And you need to set them on fire.
Yes. You know what I mean? Just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't come with a space sword. That'd have been cool. Maybe that hasn't been developed yet. That was the next project. Okay. And so they're looking up all this stuff. This is when they're talking about, it going to Mars and stuff. And that's why they want to have his AI helmet on there and get it, That's why they brought him basically onto their project, because of his technology.
Right.
So we have Patty. She's at the house and stuff. She's like, playing with the kids and stuff. And she basically is telling Matt also too that she wants to make this house more upscale and colorful. Okay. And that comes up later. So just remember all that. So now we see Robert. He doesn't really have any friends around here. They just mate. But these two other kids come over. I guess it's Peterson's kids. They come over. And one of them, his name is Billy. He has like the green jacket on. Challenge him to a video game. He said he can beat him at this star conquering world video game. All right. Yes. And Robbie bets the house that he can keep it. So then the kids start playing the game, and the Billy gets pissed off that he lost, so he smashes and breaks the game. And of course, Robert looks all sad. And then the sister comes in and comforts him and says, "Do you want to go get a cookie?" I guess
that made everything better.
I can see that working on you, Alison. You know what I mean?
Cookie.
When you get a little pissed off about watching these crazy fucking movies and all this crazy out there, I'm just like, you know what? That guy just needs a cookie.
I do like cookies. Especially the Subway cookies with the raspberry and the cheesecake little chips in them.
Oh yeah. Those ones are good. Oatmeal ones are good too. I like those.
Yeah.
So now they're the family, the Winslows are driving around, right? All right, and the Robert's not saying anything because he's kind of upset because his game got smashed. And this is when they're talking, and they basically almost hit this other car that kind of cut them off. And this is when we see that the Matt goes out there and talks to him. And this is when we see the same devilish lady from the beginning of the movie with the big poofy hair. And this is when we find out that her name is Jessica Jones, and she is the owner of the country club. Okay, the Steaming Country Club. And she knows all about Matt and his family and everything. All right. And saying, she's sorry that they cut him off and everything. And she's just in a big hurry. And Matt's like, well, let me get your insurance card. Like, I think you fucked up my suspension and stuff. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to do it. And then the cop comes over there. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, she's really busy right now. Everything's fine. And then Matt's like, what kind of cops? I've never seen this kind of accident happen before. Like, what the hell's going on here? And the cop's like, listen, man, this is a small town. We don't do things like this around here. So you'll get whatever you need fixed later, and everything should be all good. Okay. So Matt leaves it kind of like dumbfounded of what the hell's going on. So now we see so Jessica Jones, okay, she we can see her doing her country club steaming ritual of how they join people. So
with all the fog, I guess it's steam. Right?
Okay, so this reminded me of so you've seen Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
You know when they had that portal to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
So it kind of looked like that a little bit, but you put it in like a 1984 white room with the door that has some like random symbols on it, and then you get like a little like push button thing. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. So basically, she is introducing the Peterson family into the Upside Down world of this story.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Stranger Things guys didn't get a lot of their ideas from this movie. because it's from the right time period from because like they're like obsessed with 1983, 1984.
Yes.
So it's from the right time period. So I would not be surprised if a lot of some of their ideas came from the concept of this spring door to hell or whatever it is.
Yes. So this is when the Petersons family goes in there, and now they're going to be. Well, they didn't really explain what they are, but they're basically soulless people. So.
Yeah.
So I look at my notes here. Back at the Micro Digital Center, they test out the AI helmet. So now Matt's AI helmet could basically tell if somebody's a human or if they're a plant.
Yes.
So and then it's such great technology where it'll say human, non-human. Oh, okay. And he was really doing that. He was teaching the machine how to recognize different things. So very interesting. So Matt goes into the records room. All right. And he notices somebody's in there. And this is when he sees Grace. And Grace like, we need to take this red book right now. And he's like, what? And he's like, what are you doing in here? You just like classified stuff. He's just like, you should better read this. And then all of a sudden the main honcho boss comes in here. All right. Which I believe his name was Walt. He comes in there. And he's like, hey, Matt, I need to talk to you about something over here. So he gets out of there, and Walt is now going to be introducing Matt to Jessica Jones. All right. And then, of course, Matt's like, oh, yeah, we met before. He's like, oh, okay. I didn't realize you guys met before. She has a great country club. You should join sometime.
Yeah.
So, we all like
everybody
drinking
else
games.
Does.
Yes. We know you all like drinking games here on the Retro Blood. So the big one for this movie is every time somebody said join this fucking country club, just take a shot because it's a lot. Okay. So now the secretary lady, with the red book, she's like creeping around and stuff, and she knows what's up. But then Jessica notices her too. Okay, because she's one that hasn't been turned yet. Okay.
Yeah, she knows what's going on. So, and she tries to warn Matt, although that's coming up, I think.
Yeah. So basically the Walter guy wants Matt to show Jessica Jones, the country club owner, the suit that they're building. And Matt finds out kind of weird. It's like, hey, this is like classified stuff here. And he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. She's part of the team and stuff. So it's like, okay. So sure. Matt shows her the suit, and then all that Jessica Jones cares about is what sport that Matt plays. And I don't know if I caught the sport he said, but I thought he said rolling. What the hell is rolling?
I don't know. I didn't notice that part.
And she's like, oh, that's probably why you're all fit and everything. I'm like, okay. Like, where did we get this rolling sport going on here? And then she says, you should join my club. Take a shot, everybody. And we have exercise, and then we have all kinds of pleasure at my club. Oh, okay. And then Matt's like, I'm not a big joiner kind of guy. All right, then he leaves. And then we could see through our vision that the AI helmet is on Jessica Jones, and the AI helmet tells her that she's not human. All right, so it's our first hint of her not being human. Not really, because we could tell at the beginning of the film. So now Matt goes checks, and he finds out that his friend, his college friend, Tom Peter, has moved up. All right, and he's in a bigger office now. All right, and that's what the Grace girl told him. And she's like thanking him and everything. And then, Matt's surprised about, Matt goes into his office. He's all surprised about, Tom getting this promotion. All right. And they're talking. This is when Tom says, hey, you should join that club.
Yeah. You need to join the club. That's important.
Actually, Alison, you need to join the club. You need to join the club of liking this movie.
No, definitely not.
All right.
But we'll see.
We'll see, man. I'm slowly working on you like our boy Tom over here. All right, so but he's not having it. Like he's like, he's playing along with Tom and stuff, but he's all like, I don't want to join, but like, congratulations on, getting this house and everything, or this new office and everything. It looks good. So now we're back with Patty, and Patty has decided to look over Tom's kids for the night. Okay, I guess they're out doing stuff. And then she sees Tom's wife's new car. All right, and she's like, "Oh wow, you got a brand new car and everything. That's pretty awesome because it's promotion." And then of course, Patty's like, "Oh well, we're also part of the club. You should join." Well, I'll tell you, like it's like every scene they were saying, "Join this fucking club." Okay. I guess it was the whole, I get why they were doing that because it's trying to show like, hey, conform like us. You middle class assholes of 1984. Join the rich and the famous. We're all devil worshippers over here, brother.
Exactly. You got to join the Satan Club if you move here.
Yeah. So now, like, then she also says, like, you know what? Like, you guys should join this club. I know Matt's being stubborn, but talk to him. All right, it's going to change your life. So now Patty talks to Matt, says, hey, we should join that club. It's like, fuck. Okay. So she's like, for 10 years, we've been on hard times and stuff. And Patty, she just wants to move up and, like, get the finer things. Like, she wants to make everything a little easier because they've been struggling for so long to have, like, mediocre stuff. So, now that Matt finally has a good job, he can afford more things. He can update the furniture. He can update the piano, and he can join this club, and he can get a promotion because that's where you got to rub shoulders with. This is where all the higher ups go. Like, this is where all the people who can, get you to higher places. This is where they all, rub shoulders with at this club.
Yeah.
So, and then like, he's just basically saying like, nah, I'm just not feeling that club. And she's basically mad at him. It's like, well, you're just afraid of success. All right. And then Matt's like all pissed off now. It's like, what the fuck? And then Matt goes downstairs and he sees one of Peterson's sons, Billy, watching TV. And he's like, hey, you should turn that TV off and stuff. That's like not for you. And then Billy's like, you shouldn't do that. All right. And then Matt looks scared. He's just like fucking scared. And then all these kids were scaring him. All right. And then he tells all the kids very creepily, hey, like he's very nervous. He's like, hey, all you kids should go to sleep. Okay, so now the next morning, he now sees that the secretary girl, the Grace girl, got replaced. Okay? So she's not there anymore. And Matt's talking to his boss, Walt, about it. And he's like, hey, where did Grace go? Like, she was like one of the best secretaries I ever had and stuff. And then Walt's like, well, she just didn't fit the mold over here. She wasn't conforming the way that we wanted her to conform around here. And Matt's like, well,
even though she's, I was about to say, even though she's been there probably for 40 years, and then Matt knows her for 2 days, and then she's like the best secretary he's ever had.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, she gets replaced by the hot Satan secretary.
Yes. Because that's what you do at corporate offices. You know what I mean? You got
Absolutely,
somebody old in there. Fuck it. We need the big titty Tracy girl to come in here with the tits.
Exactly. So exactly.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, that's what I would do probably.
Yeah. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Okay? We know why they're hired. Okay? Corporate greed, brother. Let's go. So yeah, that's what's going on. And basically, the Walt's like, okay, we'll give the new girl 2 weeks. If not, I'll replace the girl. All right. And he's like, oh, by the way, you joining that club? Huh? You coming?
Make sure you do.
Make sure you join the club. All right. And then he's like, I guess he was just basically saying like, okay, I'm thinking about it. Okay. Oh, and then I guess the boss is also saying, oh, if you're joining that club, I'm happy that you're going to be becoming one of us. So this is one, I guess, during this time that Matt has decided to give it a look at. He's going to go check out the Steaming Springs Country Club. It's a very special club. That's what the Walt says. So this is when we get Jessica Jones by the pool. Okay. And we get a bunch of other blondes by the pool area. Mm-hmm. And she notices that she can see that Tom is showing Matt and Patty around the club. So Jessica's getting very excited about this. And she comes up to him and she's like, oh, Tom, you're doing a good job, but I'll take it from here and I'll show them around. And then this is when basically Jessica is showing them the weight room, and there is somebody in the weight room that's like higher up in a different company, and he knows about the spacesuit. And then Jessica's like, oh, this is a very tight community. Everybody knows about everything over here. All right? Because Matt found that kind of weird that the guy already knew about the spacesuit, even doesn't even work with them. And Jessica was telling them, everybody, that so there's basically like a 3 to 4 week initiation. But once you're initiated, you will be invited to the special Halloween grand party that they're doing.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Because you can't go to the party if you're not a member. All right.
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah. So she's bringing Patty upstairs, and then Matt sneaks off, and he finds the upside down room. All right. He's about to push some buttons, but then Jessica comes by and stops him. And this is the first flirty stuff that she has with them. Because Matt's like, okay, I heard some people like crying over here. She's like, well, that was just crying out of ecstasy. And it's like, no, I don't think they were crying like that. I think that was like other cries. She's like, no. She's like, listen, if you join this club, all right, I like you, Matt. So I might speed up your process. All right?
Oh, yeah.
And she's all like, not only can you exercise, but I also make sure this club is very pleasurable for you, if you know what I mean. And Matt, not being Tom Savini at all, doesn't act on those emotions of banging this devilish woman out. He's like, let me go find my wife. I was like, what would Tom's Tom, what's his name? Tom, not Savini, but the guy from Halloween 3.
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins, brother. That's what I was thinking. What would Tom Atkins do?
No, he would be screaming already about they're taking over.
Yes. But
Channel 3.
I bet
Channel 3.
He would still have sex with Jessica Jones though. After that, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now Matt goes off and talks to Patty. Patty basically wants to join. She's like all about it. She's like, I want to join here. I want to be part of this upper class. Matt's like, well, Matt doesn't really tell her that Jessica was just flirting with him. He's like, hey, let's get out of here. This place creeps me out. And they have a little fight. And then Pam's like, no, I'm going to go to lunch with Jessica. And then they just leave. So back at the house, all right, the Patty and the two kids are all talking about the country club and what it all had. And they look very sad because basically Matt doesn't want to join with them. So Matt comes home. He gives the bottle of wine and flowers, and they kind of make up a little bit. But the family still, like, they want to join the club and be a part of the neighborhood, basically. So now we have the next scene of Patty talking with Jessica. And Jessica is basically saying, like, I'll bend the rules for you. And I could have your whole family join the club, and you don't have to join with your husband. You could just join it without it. So then we see them going into the upside down room. All right. And I don't know why nobody thought this is like suspicious. But like, why do we got to go through this like fancy door or what and this ritual shit to join a country club?
No, it's just a symbol. You walk through the hot door, and then you go to the mist, and then you're in the club. So
if I go to the local YMCA there, Allison, you know what I mean? Do I got to go through a mist door?
That's how you get in. Yeah.
Well, maybe
once you sign your paperwork, you have to go through a mist door.
Maybe it's all. Maybe
join the YMCA.
Maybe not, because YMCA is kind of like one of those lower clubs. Maybe it's like one of those like high end fancy white clubs. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah, maybe so.
So they go through there. The daughter, Chrissy, she's having second thoughts, but there's a big jacked up cop there. All right, that kind of makes them go through. So then we see them. Now Matt comes home again, and you can see that they're a little different. They're just acting a little stranger. And the big thing about this one is the dog comes in. They had a dog, and the dog's now barking at everybody, and like he wants to attack them. And the wife's all freaking out about the dog. How should we get rid of him? And Matt's like, no, we can't get rid of the dog. Like, I don't know why he's acting up like that. And then Patty's like, okay, I'll take him to the vet, and I'll solve all this stuff while you go to work. So Matt's at work, right? And there's a phone call that comes through. And the secretary, the blonde girl, wasn't there, so he takes the phone call, and it's from a guy named Henderson. Okay, it was the husband of Grace is the veterinarian, and he says, like, hey, I'm the husband of Grace, I'm the veterinarian, and your wife brought in the dog today, but some very strange stuff happened. If I could talk to you in person about it. All right, and then Matt goes and visit with him.
Yeah.
So now the vet is basically saying, like, hey, your wife Patty, she brought over this your dog, and she said, like, this dog was basically very harmful. He's gonna attack people. He's a really danger to the family. Can you get rid of him? And the guy was like, thought that was kind of weird, and he was just like, oh, he's like, nah, the dog looks kind of fine. And then he said that she said that she's going to take him to another veterinarian if he's not going to help him out. And then basically Henderson said, like, he lied through his teeth, saying, like, oh, I'll take him out when you leave, and there's no veterinarian for like 50 miles from here.
Right.
And then he gives Matt the dog. He says, does that look like a violent dog to you? So then Matt comes home now, and he notices that his house is all being changed up with new colors around the house. But he noticed, like, the colors are not bright and colorful like Pam, or how she wanted the room to be, how Patricia wanted the house to be with all the colors. It's more darker colors around the house. And this is when Matt's talking to her in the room. She's kind of like dressing like Jessica too, with the poofy hair and the makeup, very kind of similar style. And now they're going on about, like, he's like, Matt's like, just says it, like, why did you lie about the veterinarian about the dog? Like, I talked to him and everything. And then now Pam's getting pissed off. She has the most shiniest knife I've ever seen in a horror movie. Did you see this thing?
Yeah, I know. It was awesome.
Brand new out of the package, brother. This thing was, I think it was going to blind me. It was so fucking shiny. Okay?
Yeah. And it was this big Michael Myers butcher knife.
Exactly. And she's like talking to, like, I never asked for anything. I only asked for this one thing and stuff. Why do you got to be like this? And then she's basically saying, listen, you need to join this club because you're acting different. Everybody's acting different. And I don't want this family to be strangers to each other. So I need you to join the club so we won't be strangers to each other. And then, of course, Matt agrees, even though because he has a big fucking shiniest butcher knife in front of him.
Yeah, that she might be about to stab him with, but maybe not.
Yes. So now it's nighttime, and Matt's looking at all the kids in the room and everything, and he's about to go to sleep, and then Jessica jumps on his ass. Not Jessica, sorry. Patricia jumps on his ass, and he's like, whoa, what the hell? She's like, nothing, I'm just teasing you, and I just want to make love to you. Just make love to you right now. So she kind of like forces to make love with him. So she's acting very different, basically. We're seeing like a different personality with the Patricia character. So now Matt is the next morning, and he calls the veterinarian guy, and he wants to ask about the Grace girl. And then this is when Mr. Henderson informs him, like, the Grace, she's dead. All right, they're saying that she fell asleep at the wheel and hit a tree, and her car's burning, and there's nothing left. I was like, oh shit, okay. That's basically was Matt's expression. It's like, oh shit, okay, damn it. So now Matt, I guess from doing the payphone, comes back to the house, and you can see that Patricia is violently playing the piano. All right, and he notices
the brand new piano,
the brand new one, and he notices there's all new furniture and piano, and then he's asking, like, okay, well, I know we got new furniture, but like, how did you get this piano? And Patricia just basically says, well, you know the little fender bender we had with Jessica Jones back in a couple scenes ago? Yeah, she gave us a new piano because of it. Isn't she so great? You should join the club, by the way. Huh? They thought I forgot about you guys, didn't you?
You should, yeah. Make sure you join the club.
Make sure you join it, brother. All right. And so now, this is also too when Patricia's saying a little bit more about, if you join the club, that you get more power, you get more raises, you'll just get more stuff in life if you just join this fucking club. Okay. So now Matt is at the office now. All right. And he is by the secretary desk. And now he's thinking about all these clues that he's seen throughout the whole movie. He sees the little red book that Grace tried to give him. It's gone. He remembers the tape. He's like thinking about, why does everybody want me to join this fucking club? You know what I mean? Everybody's acting a little weird, so he's figuring stuff out on his own. Okay. So now Matt goes into the computer room, and he's looking up records about all the movements of upper management. Okay. And he said he wants a record of all the managers who've moved up in the company, all right, in the year. And then he asked the computer, like, okay, are they all part of this country club? And it says, yes, all of them are part of this country club. And he's like, oh, this is like another clue.
Yeah, so this must have been like really high technology at the time.
Yeah.
Because before this, you would have had to look up all of those files and see when they were promoted or whatever.
Yeah.
But, it's 1984 now, so you can just type, which, the names of everybody that was promoted in this company in 1983 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just gives you them all of them to you. Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. And what's cool about this, you don't have to put no passcode in there like you would nowadays.
Oh, no. No.
So, and it's not over the cloud, too. Okay, so now Matt is going to the country club, and he's going to sneak in there with the most deadliest weapon you can imagine that a rich white guy will use.
Spacesuit.
No, the golf club.
Oh, I forgot about this part. This was fantastic. So I was going to ask you about this. So is he using the golf club as a weapon, or is it like his cover for the reason to be in the country club? See,
I'm not sure either, because he didn't really use the golf club, so I'm guessing it was like his cover.
No. But he's gonna go play golf. But he only needs one club. He doesn't need a putter. He just needs the driver.
Yes.
He doesn't need the woods, or he doesn't need the other ones. He just needs this one club, and then he carries a ball with him, which he bounces on the sidewalk to show that he's serious about golfing.
Yes. So now Matt, he's sneaking all in stuff, and they're getting all ready for the Halloween party. All right, and of course they want to make it all fancy for Jessica Jones. They want to make it all good. So Matt sneaks all in. He goes to the upside down room. All right, and he has a 1984 magic pager that he can connect to machines and make it figure out the codes to everything, because he's a genius. So he opens the door, and then he tests the Fahrenheit of the degrees in this room, and it's 800 degrees. He's like, nobody could survive that. And this is when we had that big security cop come in, and then they start brawling in the storage closet that was right next door, apparently, with boxes. And then after this melee, Matt, because he's kind of like MacGyver, he electrocutes the cop from the gated electric fence. Kind of like, don't whiz on the electric fence. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't touch it. You got it.
Because you get shocked.
All right, so now, Matt's driving fiercely back home. Like, I don't know what he had against his driveway, but he would just go up that fucking driveway quick with his fucking car.
Oh, yeah.
Then he goes in there, and you can see his daughter, Chrissy, is like smashing a bunny rabbit. He's like, oh, that's not right. And he's like,
with a crowbar.
With a crowbar. And he's all like, that's not right. And he's all like,
something's wrong here.
It's like, didn't you used to be good? She's like, I hate good. Everything sucks with good and stuff. He's like, well, you're not really my daughter. So he locks her in the closet, right? And then his son tries to attack him, Robert, and then he pushes him in the closet. All right? And he's like, okay, well, something's definitely not wrong over here, And basically, you could tell that his, probably like his daughter's souls and everything are all stuck in the upside down. Okay? Because he could see like, oh, you're not my daughter, you're not my kids. Like their purpose and their soul are all stuck in the upside down. So then we have, now we have the, I like my notes here. We have the Pat Demon now attacks Matt with the club, with some more clubs. All right. And, with the golf club. And she sucks so bad at it that she misses and she falls. And he pushes her and she gets knocked out super easy. All right.
Yeah, well, a golf club is not a really good weapon because it's really heavy on the end.
Yeah.
So when you swing it, it makes you off balance.
Well, I don't know what happened to
never use a
her
golf
Michael
club.
Myers knife that was shiny. She get that back.
I don't know. That would have been a better weapon than this.
So now Matt gets back in the car and drives furiously back to the job. He goes to his job now, and this is when he puts on the Venus flytrap spacesuit of AI magic.
Yes.
All right. And of course, Tom asks, "Hey man, what are you doing? What are you doing here?" It's like, "Well, I'm just testing the suit out." He's like, "You're testing the suit out at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night?" And he's like, "Well, you know how it is."
Not suspicious.
And then basically Tom pulls a gun on him, and then Matt lasers his ass. Get on out of here, brother. You got a laser on you. Okay. And then now Matt goes to the party in the spacesuit, and he just tells everybody that he's Tom. All right, in the spacesuit. So he's in the spacesuit, right? And he goes into the party, and you could tell from his AI spacesuit that none of them, all the thing says non-humans the whole time. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And the one guy's dressed like a Nazi.
I know that one guy from the car that we only saw once in the car. He's dressed like a fucking Nazi. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah, like you can't really do that now. You can't go to a party dressed
I was like, bro, what is going on?
Even in the 80s, who would think that would be a good idea?
Exactly. I was like, okay, very interesting. So Matt just walks right in and goes down to the upside down room. Jessica's like, wait a minute, that's not Tom. Wait a minute here, brother. Okay. So Matt goes to the upside down room. Okay, Jessica shows up. Matt flames her. Yeah. The AI suit says she's not a human. All right, and then Matt goes into the room with the spacesuit on, and of course Jessica, she can walk through fire, and then she goes to the upside down room itself. So this is when we have Matt. He's basically, I guess it's supposed to be hell. It kind of looked like a level of the old Doom game. It kind of looked like that a little bit.
Yeah. This is when it kind of started turning against this movie. Like when he puts on the
very end,
suit and then like starts, and he starts lasering everybody, and then he goes into the room, and then he's standing on like a cliff.
Yeah. Well, he lasers
he sees like a little town like 500 miles below him or whatever.
Yeah. So he lasers Jessica a couple times, and he runs away from her. Yeah. And then that's when he sees the town, the upside down town, and you can basically hear Chrissy's voice saying "help" the whole time, his daughter. All right, and then this is when Jessica Jones like, well, your laser beams won't hurt me. Okay, just like and what you're hearing from your daughter, that's not real. Okay, don't worry about that. And she's like, I wouldn't jump down there. I wouldn't do that. And of course, Matt jumps down there. She's like, oh, what the hell? And then basically, Matt, he jumps into a negative land. All right, that's supposed to be like their town. Which is
literally negative. Like the video is literally in the negative.
It's negative. Yes. Like you basically film normal and you just do a filter to make it negative. That's what this land's like. That's why they got nominated for the Art Grammy. Okay, for this negative land. And of course, the AI helmet, it hasn't been taught the negative land, so it kept saying unknown.
Yeah.
So now he's going into their house of the negative land, but when he gets into the house, the negative turns off. That's only for the outside, not the inside, brother. Okay? So Jessica appears, okay? And she says, everybody at the club, they all join willingly to this club to gain power. But I should have known from you, you don't want power, you don't want none of this. Okay, so I'm gonna give you myself. You can rule with me in the negative land, and we can rule together. We can gain all this power together. Okay, and then Matt's like, hell no. So he throws his AI helmet at Jessica for some reason, and then now Matt's he sees Pam. She's kind of like playing piano, and she's stuck between like a laser shield, and Matt can't get through. And this is when Jessica's saying, like, she's not real. You can't touch her and everything in here. And Matt's like, okay, well, I see what's going on over here. Basically, what Jessica has done is she has taken everybody's love and soul out of their bodies and put them in the negative land. All right, but she doesn't have any power in the negative land. Everybody is just having their souls here placed willingly. So basically, the movie is trying to show the point of when you're rich and greedy and white, and you want more stuff, you lock away your soul and consciousness into this negative land, and that's how you gain your rich and powerful wealth, is by having no soul and love. That's basically what the movie was saying.
Yeah, and also like it kind of speaks to like the satanic panic of the 1980s. Like, we're moving from the Midwest to California, but everybody in California is a Satanist, and you got to watch out for these people because they're all evil and satanic.
So now, Jessica says, like, Matt, you can come with me and live with me, and, we could take over this place. And then Matt refuses it, and he's telling Pat, hey, this is, you got the power here. So he breaks through to the Pat, and he holds her. And this is when Jessica starts freaking out. What the hell? You got through. And you can hear Chrissy. They go break her from her shield wall. And then they get Robert, and they break him from the shield wall. And then when they do that, the upside down starts freaking out, and Jessica blows up. Okay? And
yeah, literally.
So the only problem I had with this was like, okay, so it took only one family for her to blow up. Like, didn't she like fucking turn the whole town? So it took one person to not be under her spell to break her spell, basically.
I guess so, yeah. I guess Matt was the key. They had to have Matt to keep all this going.
So the negative all blows up, and the family, Winslow's, they just wake up at their house, and they see that the country club is now on fire. Yeah. All right, so they all go outside and check out the CGI smoke that's coming from past the hill where the country club's supposed to be. And Chrissy says, hey, it's all, is it all burning down right now? And she has her bunny rabbit that's not ripped up. I guess somehow
back to normal.
Somehow the bunny rabbit turned normal. And because when she ripped out the bunny, it was in the real land. It wasn't in the negative land. So it just got reversed.
But I guess so, yeah. I guess it just set everything back to the way it's supposed to be. We have to know if they still have the nice piano or not to know that for sure, but we don't really get.
Well, it looked like everything. I guess everything just turned back to normal once the evil powers were away. All right.
Yeah.
So Chrissy asks, like, it's all gone? They're like, yep, it's all gone. And then Matt looks at the club a little bit. We see some CGI smoke, and then that's it. End of movie.
Yeah. Well, it's probably animation. I doubt they had CGI then, but yeah.
But that is it, man. Invitation to Hell. There you go, Alison. You have now joined the club, and you are a full-fledged member of loving this movie.
I guess so, yeah. It's now one of my favorites. I've now been inducted into the club of the steamy hot room.
There you go. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was okay. Like, it wasn't the most exciting movie I've ever seen. But I actually kind of like when they went to the I kind of like when they went to the upside down because it was so goofy. I was like, I could dig this. And then I love my 1980s negative scenes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's almost as cool as the blue flame that they have. 1980s blue flame. That's a good one too. But yeah, everybody, Invitation to Hell, very interesting movie. Very TV like movie, I would say.
So. Yes.
But
definitely seemed like it was definitely like a TV movie.
Definitely. Oh yeah. It was all right. It was all right. For me, it was all right. Alison, I could tell you didn't like it, but that's okay. Well, maybe you'll like what we're going to do next week, Alison, because the Retro Blood is moving on to another hell movie of the 1980s, and that's going to be Hell Hole.
Yeah.
Now,
so this movie I have seen before, and I actually own it on bootleg DVD that I bought years and years and years ago.
Gotcha. Now, Hell Hole, that could be something that we would see in the good old back alleys of that British peep house. All right, but I don't think the movie's actually like that. I think it's actually kind of a crazy movie, as I believe. But I've never seen it, so we'll see what it's all about, though. That should be fun, though. And of course,
it's kind of a cross between a horror movie and a women in prison movie.
Oh, okay, interesting. Should be pretty wild. Should be fun to talk about. And of course, we'll round out the month with Hell of the Living Dead. over
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So that should be fun.
Italian zombie movie. It's gonna be great.
So very, very, a lot of variety for this month. I like it so far. So, but like I said last week, or we're not going to be playing the music live on here because I don't want any more copyrights.
No.
But everybody, check out the Facebook, and I'll play a little bit from Battleaxe if I can find it. But the song that I do recommend from them is Metal Rock. Check that one out.
Metal Rock for sure.
On the Retro Blood, everybody. Because, there's a lot of metal rock going on in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that Halloween party would have been pretty crazy, if they start blaring out the 80s music.
There's definitely a lot of rock when they went through the door. Through the
That's true.
Upside down world.
That's true.
Lots of rock.
That's true. But everybody, James Kline, J.A. Alison, we will see you here next week on the Retro Blood.
See you guys.